How's it going, guys? Good morning. I just want to share my story of sleeping in a ditch a couple days ago. It actually wasn't the first time I slept in a ditch. About 3 weeks ago in PEI, I slept in a ditch, but that was from heat exhaustion. I found like some shade under a tree and like just went and passed out for a couple hours. But a couple days ago, I actually slept in a ditch overnight, and never in my life did I ever think it'd be okay to sleep in a ditch. But a couple days ago, it was the hardest physically 24 hours of my life by far. And I've done stupid shit. Like, remember in Vancouver, I worked a day shift and then a night shift. And then the following morning, I went and ran a half marathon. Or I did a triathlon and didn't train for it properly, like barely ever, and still finished a triathlon in 2013. But a couple days ago was the toughest because I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, just stiff as fuck. My back was killing me. I had a pounding, throbbing headache because I had ran out of water, and I could just tell it was one of those dehydration headaches. I hadn't eaten the day before. The day before. All I had eaten was crab apples that I would find on trees. Uh, but the worst was like I remember how cold it was and wet because like the night before it had rained, and I have a good tent. Like my tent was like fucking $400, but when it rains a lot, it gets water in it pretty good, and so I got soaked, didn't barely sleep, and my legs were just. I had been going for a little while straight here, so they definitely needed a rest. And I remember I got up to take a piss, and like I didn't even want to walk 5 feet, never mind 50 kilometers, and that's how far it was to the next town. And there's literally like, what do you do? Like all you can do is get your bike, pack shit up, and you gotta move. My cell phone was dead too, and like I really enjoy music, or I listen to podcasts or audiobooks to keep me company while I'm riding, and it makes the days go by a lot quicker. But my cell was dead, and so I literally just I'm like, this day is gonna be tough, and so I got on my bike and I pedaled and I cycled to the next town. It took me a good while. And when I got to the next town, I was just fucking exhausted. My body was just so sore and 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 uh, and tight that I couldn't even pedal my bike anymore. By the time I got to the town, I was like literally walking it. And then I went to the grocery store. I got some Advil and some Tylenol, and then I got some alcohol. I got some Fireball. And I don't even like Fireball, but I wanted alcohol because alcohol is an anesthetic. I wanted just to numb the pain, and then so I drank, and then I ended up passing out by a church, and then woke up, and I had to get back on my bike, and it was like evening now, and so I was still feeling like shit, and so I got on my bike, and I had to get another 40 or 50 kilometers to the next town, and where I could finally find a decent hotel. I don't know, like I couldn't find a decent hotel, and like all my shit was soaked, so I didn't even want to bother setting it up to camp because everything was fucking just soaked. And so I grab all my shit, and I start riding again. And by about 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, it got really bad because I was in the fucking middle of nowhere on the highway. So I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere, and I wasn't even riding my bike anymore. Like I said, like my muscles get so, it got to the point where my muscles, my body was so tight from cycling. I literally couldn't fucking rotate another, I couldn't rotate my legs anymore to cycle. And so I got off and I was just like walking my bike. And it got to the point where it was so dark out that I was just, all I could do was focus on the white line, like the white, road line, and just follow that, because there wasn't even a fucking, what do you call it, like a pedestrian, there's like, usually there's like 4 or 5 feet where like bikers or walkers can use. It was literally ditch and then the fucking line. And that was the hardest. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that night. I was so exhausted because it'd been accumulating for a few days. Like I hadn't really been sleeping well. I obviously hadn't eaten. And I was just so exhausted and cold that I was starting to like I was really dizzy. Like I literally, just me going like 5 feet, where I don't know, like my phone was dead, so I couldn't even make a video of it. But like, if someone would have taken it, I wonder how slow I was going. But it must have been like crawling, man. Like I was like literally, my feet weren't even going like this anymore. Like walking like normally, like they're like just dragging. And literally inch by inch, I was like moving my bike, and I had my head down, and all I could focus on was that white line. And the really scary thing is like fucking semis blow by you. And if for some reason they're fucking looking at their phone or something, like they're gonna crush me, because like it was so dark out. Like I had a backlight, thank God, that was working. So it was like a flashing light. So I'm sure that helped, but it was really scary because like semis, like some of them wouldn't even fucking slow down, man. They're just like blowing by you at 110 kilometers an hour, and you're getting like splashed in the face with like fucking puddles. And I just got to the point, I'm like, you know what? Like I could probably keep crawling all night, but I don't want to die, man. It's not worth it, and like I was just so, and I was also, I mean, like I said, like I've put my body through a lot of physical high demand stuff in my past, but nothing ever like this, man. And the mental aspect as well, I think made me a lot stronger mentally. That's why I'm like, you know what? I think I could climb Mount Everest, like that, like that's not like. And that's when I decided yesterday I decided, I'm like, you know what? If I can get a passport, and if Nepal opens up their borders, I'm going to go to Nepal, and I'm going to for sure do at least base camp of Mount Everest, which should take about 2 weeks. And depending on the cost and how much training I need to do, I would just definitely like climb Mount Everest. Like absolutely. I like challenges. I love it. I look forward to them. Yesterday I felt like absolute shit. Like I just felt awful. Like your body needs time to recover as well. But I really like pushing myself, because that's when the growth happens, like as a person, like, when you're all alone and you're freezing, you're hungry and you're cold and you have no one to fucking rely on but yourself, and you have just one option, which is fucking keep going, it really tests your limits. And I'm really proud that I was able, like I accomplished it. And like, and when you do stuff like that, and like now I'm staying in a nice hotel room, got pizza yesterday and drinking some beers, and it makes you appreciate the small things in life so much more, man. And like these last 5 or 6 weeks have taught me so much about myself, and about how different I am than I was 10 years ago, and the person that I want to try to become. And you know, like I used to have such a different ideology of what being successful was. And I remember in 2011, like, don't forget, like, I was an early investor in Apple stocks. So, and I've always been a hard worker, and I got into the oil patch at when I was 22 or 23 years old, and I've been making good money for most of my adult life. And, in 2011, I remember, like, I moved to Beverly Hills, and I got a nice condo in Beverly Hills with a beautiful view. And I remember, like, one day I went and rented a Ferrari, and I went to the Ivy, which is like a celebrity spot where it's very well known there. Like, they have a beautiful patio and stuff. And I remember I just rolled up to valet, and I was like, man, like, I feel successful today. And that was 9 years ago. That was in 2011. And honestly, I feel so much more successful now because I've learned from my mistakes, and I don't value the. I mean, those types of things are really nice to have, but they don't give you like a fulfilling feeling after a while, to be honest with you. And that's not what I ever want to represent. That's not ever what the shallow life I want to ever go back to. Like, just the way I see the world. I mean, I did have an epiphany like 3 weeks ago as well, which changes your life. But the way that I see the world now is completely different. Like, I feel guilty at some points in my life because I've been so selfish with my money, and I could have done more to help out others, and I can't like donate, and I can't give everyone my money because honestly, I mean, it's not like I'm stupid rich or anything like that. Like, I'm not that rich. But that's why I'm so focused now on. I've had a lot of big goals and dreams, like fashion and making movies and all that stuff, and I will get there. But I really want to focus on this book and this memoir. And I really wanted to help others try to make money. Well, first of all, I want to help others like learn how to save and invest, and because I think when you have a certain level of success, and it doesn't matter in what, but I think you should take it as a responsibility to help out others. Like, I was telling my buddy Joel yesterday how it sickens me how in society, especially North American society, we value money so much. Like, we worship people with money. Like, I just read that Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, he is now worth $200 billion fucking dollars. And I was like, how could you be proud of that? Like, how many schools are you building? Like, how many educational videos or books or like to help teach others how to build businesses? Like, why do these? And I've hung around with wealthy people when I lived in Beverly Hills. I've stayed at like in expensive hotels in Saint-Tropez, France. I've gone all out sometimes, and the people that I've met, I'm like, I've met some really good people as well, people that like use their success to help out others, but I've also met a lot of ignorant, egotistical, selfish, greedy people that are very wealthy, and they opened up to me because they thought maybe I was one of them or something. But like, and it's interesting because it's like they feel this entitlement that like I'm here, so I'm better than you, and when really it should be I'm here, and I want to try to help others reach a higher level. I'm not saying that Jeff Bezos can teach everyone how to make $1 billion. No, I'm not saying that at all. But he can teach young millennials how to build a business, you know, in a book or something. That's what I don't understand. It's like, I don't know. It bothers me and I guess it's been like this through all of society, like through the beginning of humankind, like with the pharaohs and stuff like that. They always thought that they were like higher than everyone else. But I've lived my life of two extremes. I grew up very poor, where my parents, I couldn't even go to birthday party. I couldn't even go to birthday parties when I was like 10 years old sometimes. You know, because my parents didn't have $10 to give like a $10 as a birthday gift. And I've also been blessed to have made a lot of money. I've also spent a lot of money. But I've seen the world from both spectrums. And I remember when I was in India was a very amazing experience in my life, and I got to see real fucking poverty. Real poverty, man. Like, I got lost in Mumbai, and I spent like 4 or 5 days like in the ghetto, like the real slums of Mumbai. And it was such an amazing experience, and the people like that I met, and like it was just I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about all this shit in my book, but I don't know. Yeah, we got off topic there, but yeah, sleeping in the ditch was awful. I mean, honestly, but I was so exhausted, I didn't even fucking feel it. And the next day I woke up when the sun rose, and I picked up my bike and made her here to Badak. I'm in Badak right now. But it was, I'm really enjoying this very much. And I hope that some of my friends can one day come out to the East Coast and see this place, because it's really gorgeous. I mean, not only the places, but the people. Like, it's just, I actually met a couple yesterday that they're actually originally from Calgary, and I was like, do you guys not find the people here are completely different than in Alberta? And like, yeah, completely. And I always wonder, I'm like, you know what, like Sidney Crosby he's from Dartmouth, just outside of Halifax, and on his off season he always goes back and to Dartmouth, and he lives there. And I remember watching an interview and then someone asked him, like, why do you go back to Dartmouth on your, because I mean, Sydney makes what, 10 mil, 11 mil a year. Like, that guy could fucking live anywhere. And I remember the first thing that he said, he's like, the people. And I was like, man, like, I'm one of those types of guys that you have to show me before, you know, I don't, and like, I have been like in awe of the kindness, the generosity, the friendliness. Like, I feel like a hot white girl most days, you know what I mean? And like, people are so friendly. Like, they come up to me like, oh, hey, where are you biking from? Oh, hey, can I buy you a coffee? Like, it's like, no, let me buy you a coffee, you know what I mean? Like, and even, it's just everywhere I go, man. It doesn't matter if it's like girls I go on a date with from Tinder, or if it's like old men or old women, or doesn't matter, man. Like, just last night I was talking to these two young, like 17, 18-year-old workers at this pizza place, and and I was like, you know, keep working hard, guys. Like, you're gonna remember, like, because one of them wants to be a power engineer, and anyways, I'm like, you know what? When you get to where you gotta be, you're gonna remember these fucking jobs because I've been there. And you know what? And it's just it's such a different vibe. And I've also lived in Vancouver and LA, and especially in Vancouver, people there are super pretentious and full of themselves, and like it's also like big city life and stuff, which is different, but like I don't want to ever leave like when I'm in Canada, it's gonna be the East Coast like 130%, man. And like I really look forward to some of my friends coming out here and being like, yo Lou, I know what the fuck you're talking about, man, because I noticed it as well. And it's like everywhere you go, and it's just a beautiful thing, man. And like I look forward to every fucking day, man. And I don't know, I'm just a very grateful man, you know, in my life. Like I think when you guys reading my book, you guys gonna be like, how the fuck is this motherfucker alive? You know, but I'm here, man, and I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna fucking live every day like, you know, like it counts. And I don't know. But anyways, have a great weekend, guys.